Hi, my name is Monica Fay. I'm a professional organizer and declutter expert, and I am passionate about the intersection of mental wellness and physical mess and how culture plays a role in our attachment to our things. Now, as a professional organizer, one of the most common questions I get is how do I let go of those just in case items, the things that you keep that you know you don't really want or need, but you're keeping them just in case. And because I use mindfulness in how I teach decluttering to my clients, I'm going to use a little bit of that here today. And I feel like if you know the root of why you're attached to something, then you can free yourself from that attachment. So I'm going to list a few of the most common reasons. Now, one of the most common reasons I'd say number one is when somebody has grown up with poverty or financial insecurity or experienced financial insecurity as an adult. You might think that something is a really good deal, so you buy a bunch of them, even though it's not something you needed. It feels really good to have that purchasing power to buy extra things. Or the fear that you'll never be able to acquire something again, that you might not have the money or the access. And that can be really scary and it can lead you to hold on to things. So we do have to really ground ourselves that we are safe and that we have resources to acquire something again if we need it. And the way we do that is we go find out how much does it cost if I should ever need it again? What would it cost? Where would I buy it? Would I get it online? Do I have access to get it in a store? And if the answer is that you can't acquire it on your own, does someone in your family or community have it that you could borrow or use temporarily? So these are ways that we can start to build that confidence back that you don't have to keep everything just because you had a past where it was really hard to let go because you didn't have the means to get it again. Also, monetary value is a huge thing that stops people because people know the price they paid for things and then they didn't use it or they didn't use it as many times as they wanted to or the way they intended. So they keep it because they're going to squeeze that dollar out of it. They're going to get use out of it one of these days, or they're going to sell it and get all their money back that they wasted. But I challenge you to shift your perspective a little bit on what value means. And when we look at something that, let's say, a dress that has tags on, and we were supposed to wear it to a wedding, but we ended up wearing something else, and it's been sitting there for a year. We might think, oh man, that's a dress that I'm going to have to wear one of these days because it has a tag on it, or I'm going to have to sell it close to the price of what I got it for. What if we were to say that maybe the usage wasn't what was intended to wear it to a wedding, but usage was had from that product, and the usage was ownership. The usage was, it was there if you needed it. And if we can wrap our minds around the shift of the product did get use, just not what we intended. One, we can let go knowing that it was used as ownership. And two, that we want to be more mindful of the usage of our items in the future. When we own things, we care to keep them in rotation in our life and enjoy them and be a part of our lives. Now, the third thing that people fear in letting go of those just in case is when you live a life with full of memories and you start to look through them, you can feel sad that your life is no longer that vibrant, that you don't have those good times, that youth. You're not as skinny, you're not as adventurous, you didn't travel recently, you didn't do the hobby that you were going to start, and you start to feel empty. And so people cling on to things saying, well, I'm going to remember every good time. I'm going to keep this item because I'm going to go and finally start this hobby or this sport or go travel or do this art. And instead, what we need to do, the antidote to that is living the full life right now, planning a life that is fulfilling artistically and a good conversation and good food. And when we have a life that feels more fulfilled, we can let go of some of these physical memories because you don't have to keep every single memory, even the good ones, because your life is still making more as we continue on. Now, the fourth thing is decision making. Confidence in decision making is really, really difficult for people with ADHD and neurodivergent people or people struggling with executive functioning. That could come from trauma, of course. It could also come from just going through a bad time in life. And what happens is we do not believe that we can make a good decision. And if we let go of something, it will be a mistake. that we will harm ourselves, we will miss out on something, we will lose money, we will do something wrong or illegal. And the antidote to that is information, making sure that we have the correct information so it can release us from ownership. So many papers don't need to be kept if you know what papers need to be kept. So I hope these four uh, things give you a little more confidence, give you a little bit more to think about as you're mindfully decluttering. And if you'd like to learn more about the way I teach about the philosophy of letting go, please find me on Instagram at Miss Monica Faye.